company I work for is called T&E Howie Lighting. They've been specialists in lighting design and supply, both to the commercial and domestic market since 1970. Paul Howie, who is the son of the original owner, has been designing lights for about 25 years, and I've been working for them for just over a year. My name's Des Farrell, and I thought what we're going to call this wee talk, and I thought I like a wee short strap line, so I thought more light, less energy, and obviously less energy means lower costs. So if we reduce the energy, obviously we're going to have lower electricity costs. You can have instant savings up to 90%. Now 90% would be like in your little down lights that you would often see in your kitchen. Or you'll see actually in the hotel. These here, this hotel is actually a very good example of somebody that has done a really good LED lighting job. Those little downlights there will probably be pulling about 6 or 7 watts, whereas the originals in those would probably have been pulling 50 watts. So those are the ones you get 90% reduction in the amount of energy, and obviously less energy, less cost, so less money, less waste. Sorry? More light. Well, generally speaking, when we do a survey for businesses, we'll say, the client will tell us, I want to save money, or do I want to increase the light? Some people will actually say, I have too much light, I want to reduce the light. But generally speaking, people are looking for the same amount of light or more light and less cost. The LED technology is the big change really that has happened in recent years. It's completely different technology to fluorescent or metal halide that we've been using for years. Fluorescent tubes, 5-foot fluorescent tubes coming down from 66 watts to 22 watts, 2/3 saving, so 66% saving on those. So somewhere usually between 60% and 90% is where you're going to where your savings are going to be. And you also get reduced maintenance costs. Now, this talk is generally done to businesses, so bear in mind that if it's for domestic, a lot of this will be relevant, but this talk is specifically for businesses. A lot of the clients that I've been doing in the last year, we're very fortunate in Northern Ireland in that there is an interest-free grant available through the Carbon Trust, which will give interest-free loans repayable over 4 years to fund LED lighting. Why do they do that? It's basically about the reduction in carbon. There's a big drive from the European Union to reduce the amount of carbon. So the loans are given on the basis of the amount of carbon that's going to be saved. Derry City Council and all the councils in Northern Ireland have been telling us actually that it's more important for them to reduce the carbon than it is for them to reduce their electricity costs, because they'll be penalised, they'll be fined actually from Europe if they don't reduce the carbon. So typically, some of the jobs that I'm going to show you little case studies here, I'll show you the type of savings that we've done for 3 different types of businesses. So as I say there, you reduce the energy, obviously you reduce the electricity costs. Your savings are going to be instant from day one that you put in. You're going to get your return, start getting your return. Maintenance costs, the products that we specify are always 5-year warranties. So no replacements, no cost of an electrician having to go in to replace those, which can be very costly, particularly if they're at high level. Long lifespan, 50,000 hours would be the typical sort of product, which really is 50,000 hours will give you over 5 years if you're running your lighting 24 hours a day for 7 days a week. And warranties, I mean, we can do lower warranties or reduced warranties, but you're not going to save an awful lot by getting a 2 or 3 year warranty. You might save maybe 15-20%, but you're better going for the 5-year warranty. Certainly in business, and if you're long hours, it's the best way to go. Other reasons, very environmentally friendly. That doesn't tend to sort of open many doors for me initially. People in business tend to just want to save money. Really, they did tell us years ago that everybody was going to go more green or whatever, but I think it's certainly an issue, and there are people here maybe thinking about being more environmentally friendly, but certainly LED is a much more environmentally friendly product because it does obviously burn less energy, less carbon, less electricity. Um, Whenever you're dumping an LED lamp, that can go in the recycle bin and can be recycled. Instant startup, you don't have any sort of delay. As soon as you put the switch on, the light is instant. Cool running, there's no heat off an LED lamp, which is a big advantage, particularly in supermarkets where you have fluorescent tubes in fridges. There's no heat in there, and often you'll find that an awful lot of shops in the summertime struggle with their air conditioning because there's a lot of heat coming off their lights. The downside is that if you're in a cold shop, the staff maybe are quite happy to have extra heat coming off their lights, where maybe the boss isn't too keen to put the heat on, you know. So that is one downside. Brightness options, you know, there's a very wide range of different color variations. Cool white would be the norm you'll find in most retail outlets. We had an interesting experience with Austin's, actually one of the clients that I'm going to show you an example, whereas they went for warm white. They go for warm white because the girls at the perfume counters don't want to look too pasty faced, which apparently the cool white would do. Also daylight. Daylight is really, really bright. We're talking to a jewellers in Lisburn at the minute, Shannon's Jewellers in Lisburn, and he's saying his biggest problem is that if somebody takes a gold bracelet or a gold watch or a ring, and they want to see what it looks like in daylight. So they take it outside, and if it's a bright day and they come back into the shop, it looks completely different. So he actually wants daylight. So I think you're going to need sunglasses when you go into that shop, even in the winter time. But his windows face the south, so at the moment he wants to go daylight. So you have those options, which is obviously one of the advantages that you'll not get with more traditional lights. Points to consider. Obviously the cost of LED can be quite expensive. A 5-foot fluorescent tube at the minute, we're doing a special offer on those at £25 sterling, so that probably works out about just over €30. But you know, you're going to save 2/3 of your electricity costs. It's going to last you 5 years, so you will get your payback. But if you're buying 100 of those, it's not cheap. If you're buying 1,000, obviously it's a lot of money. Make sure you're getting what you pay for. You can go into the pound shop and buy LED. You can go into Tesco's and buy LED. That's fine if you're not going to be looking for long hours or guaranteed the quality. There are companies who import direct from China, which nearly all the LED stuff is manufactured in China. We're only happy to use UK-based companies who are putting their brand and their stamp behind, so that the warranties with the company, if you're buying direct from a company buying from China, you know, your warranty's probably worth nothing. So we would use the likes of Osram Phillips that you probably know, or a company called Megaman, who you probably don't know, but be one of our main suppliers, but very, very good product. Very, very big in the domestic market. The brightness and the beam width, sometimes, you know, like there's not as big a spread of light with some LED lights as you'll get with your traditional fluorescent. And if you're in a clothing shop, very often people will want to sort of put a spotlight onto a particular display. So, you know, you're looking to make sure you've got the right sort of light that's right for your job. Do you want to wash the wall with light? Do you want to highlight a particular item? And that, you know. Dimming, that was a big issue for a lot of like restaurants and bars where they wanted different types of light at different types of the day. The technology now is there that you can actually get dimmable lamps with LED, whereas some years ago that wasn't possible. The installation, obviously it's important you get the right electrician or somebody who knows what they're doing as far as being able to do a proper installation. Well, very often it's just exactly the same, you know, but you just need somebody who knows that you'll need to change the starter on an, you know, because you're not going to use the ballast or the traditional starter, so you have to bypass the ballast with fluorescent tubes, just so that somebody knows what they're doing as far as that type of thing goes. But you know, the likes of these, it's pretty straightforward because you just take out the old, put in the new. But on certain types of lights, you need somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay. I think we're on to the case studies now. This is Austin's department store. We did their menswear store back about 6-8 months ago. We've actually a price in to do the full store at the minute, and we're just waiting for funding to come through from the Carbon Trust. This had sort of like traditional fluorescent tubes and your little downlights that are here. You can see those. Those are all replaced with LED. Their savings that they got on that part of their menswear department in a year was 2,366, and the cost was 2,250. So the payback was actually less than a year, which is tremendous. And Austin's don't trade late nights, or well, they do Sundays. Some stores don't do Sundays, but that's a very, very quick payback. We were actually able to reduce the number of fittings in their ceiling, was the reason why it's such a quick payback. And the carbon emissions that are reduced there, you're talking 7,000 tonnes, over 7,000 tonnes of CO2 saved per year. This is a supermarket, a super value supermarket of Long's super value in new buildings just outside Derry, Londonderry. And again, we were able to reduce, I think it was, we reduced from about 180 fittings to, I think it was about 75. So we reduced the number of fittings by half, and you can see it's a very, very bright shop. This again, you know the fluorescent tubes into the fridges here, again very well lit, but using a lot less energy and no heat. And the savings on that one were just about £7,000 a year. Initial cost just over 7,200. So the payback there was just over a year. Now that was these were both cash jobs. These were not Carbon Trust funded jobs. Again, over 12,000 tonnes of carbon reduced. This is Precision Engineering, which is a specialist factory that does specialist cleaning. So they were actually cleaning turbines that had been brought in from Germany whenever we actually were taking these photographs. So again, you can see very well lit. Their savings were £6,000 a year. Initial cost of 9,470. That's more of a typical sort of payback, would be 1.6 years. You know, so again, now that job would have been funded through the Carbon Trust. Now the Carbon Trust there, they would have borrowed 9,500 or whatever from the Carbon Trust. Divide that before, they're paying back less than £2,500 a year and saving £6,000 a year. So they didn't have to actually fund it themselves. So they're not only getting their payback very quickly, they're actually getting it funded. So that's certainly of big interest. I've just got information through on a bigger job we did there, another department store, a bit like Austin's. We've actually completed the Cameron's department store in Ballymena, which will be probably twice the size of Austin's in Derry. Cost of lights there was 47,500, and they're saving £26,000 a year, again funded through Carbon Trust. The good thing is they had their own in-house electrician, so they didn't have to pay any installation. Well, we're not building installation costs there, so they're paying back £12,000 a year and saving £26,000. So, you know, really, as far as for businesses like that, you know, yes, you can put solar panels on, yes, you could switch lights out or whatever, but your best way of saving money, saving energy. The other things, Cameron's department store was very poorly lit, and now they're delighted that they've improved. It is more light and less cost, less energy. And so I'm just going to finish this slide here. T&E Howie, expertise in LED lighting and low energy lighting. We can upgrade to LED lighting to save money and energy. We pride ourselves on our customer service. If there's any problem, even years after we've supplied it there, Paul Howie, his father Ernest Howie, and certainly my belief is that we should give the highest possible standards of customer care, customer services at all times. So any problem, just lift the phone and we'll try and sort it out as best we can. Now, that's probably my talk finished. So thank you very much for coming at this time on a Friday. And if there's any questions, sure, come up and see me afterwards. Okay. Thank you.